resale value in the UK and selling it for even more in the US.
Wow.
So like they would drop for 100, let's say $100. I would buy them for people for 200 and sell it in the US for 300.
Damn.
And like
you were just shipping like just boxes and boxes here?
boxes. Like my apartment was like a UPS store. That's what it looked like.
That's so funny.
And so I set up my first campaign, $1,000 a day. That shit brought in $10,000 a day.
Jeez.
So
You're spending
I was spending 1,000
10 ROAS.
and 10 ROAS.
Oh man.
And I was like, all right. We showed her what could be done. And so that's why, like, when you try to structure deals with influencers now, people want like, oh, I want upfront payment.
Yeah.
But with her, it's like she already proved herself, and we're like, we're willing to give you 20%.
We got Ash. We got the man
Ash
behind the
Melwani.
Did he butcher that? Ash Melwani.
Ash Melwani
Okay.
on the dot. Listen, I went to NJIT.
Hella brown people. Yeah.
But all right, so CMO and
Co-founder. baby.
co-founder. Yeah, are you all three co-founders or just you two?
All three. Yep.
All three. All three co-founders are CMO, and then we got what are the other two?
CBO, Unkit's chief brand officer, and then you got head honcho Ron, CEO.
Ron runs the show, eh?
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
So would you say you're more on the front or behind the scenes of things?
I think a lot of what I do is, customer acquisition, right? Marketing, paid, everything that has to do with that. So a lot of the front end revenue numbers. When it comes down to, what really makes a business is the retention, right? So returning customers. And I think that's where all three of us kind of have a part there, where Unkit's really good at product development, right? Seeing what the trends are when it comes to supplements and how do we make our products better. And then Ron, killer finance and ops can, plan for all these things. But I'm kind of just adding fuel to the fire and just, getting the customers in the door.
And using Stay obviously to improve your retention, right?
Yeah, Stay. If you are using anything but Stay AI for subscriptions, you're doing something wrong. But yeah,
Call Gina Pirelli.
Quick plug already.
quick plug.
So we've already had the other two guys on. Everybody knows their story. We haven't cracked into yours yet, so that's what we obviously want to talk about today. But
cool.
I think for everybody listening, we're going to break this up like kind of we're going to do the story pretty much. It'll probably be similar, but I'm sure there's obviously nuggets of like fire stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I want to go like a lot into media buying,
Tactical.
ad buying.
Love that.
Like how much did you guys spend last year on Facebook or like Instagram
Like
paid?
7-8 million, I think.
So Avi spent 7-8 million last year. He was behind all of that. I want to like go into his brain and figure out how the hell you get there. Because obviously a lot of people watching this want to know how the hell do you scale to that extent.
Yeah, of course.
Like what does that look like day to day? But I think before that, let's go into like your whole story in a sense. If you were in a bar, right? Obviously you're engaged, congratulations and everything. But if you were in a bar,
you had a networking event.
Sorry, at a networking at one of the Parker events.
Yeah. Shout out to Parker.
Shout out to Parker. If you're at one of those events and someone came up to you and they didn't know who you were, how would you explain who you were, what you do, and like we'll start with that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I give two answers. Like if somebody's like actually interested, I'll be like, hey, started a health and beauty brand. We sell supplements. We sell collagen, right? And people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. And if like somebody's not really interested, it's like, oh, I'm in marketing, right?
Yeah.
But then when you have like the former conversation, it's interesting because they're like, oh yeah, cool. Like this somebody who's just it's a startup. They're selling supplements. There's so many supplement brands out there. Like how big is this actually? And I think what helps is that you kind of pull out the Instagram account and you're like, yeah, check it out. Like here's the brand. Yeah. And that's when people are like, oh, this is like legit. This is a legitimate brand.
100%.
And you round up you rattle off the accolades and you're like, yeah, nationwide vitamin shop. We did a partnership with Entenmann's, and it's like, oh, cool. Like how'd you get started there? And then that's what like kind of starts the convo. But pretty much tell them, yeah, I do the marketing. All the ads you see on Facebook and Instagram that's following you around, like that's me. So
I'm the stalker on the internet.
yeah, exactly.
So like, let's back that up. How'd you get into all this? Because like what year was it when you started buying ads? Like, how'd you even find Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff?
No, it's a great story. And I'm sure these guys already talked about it, Ron and Uncle, and our time at Shreds. But I think my first exposure into marketing was, so I went to school in London. Went to school called Regent's Business School, and I was studying finance. I just knew like I was into numbers. I was good at math. Like that was like, all right, I'm just gonna go down that route, investment banker type mentality, whatever. The school I went to was like 80% international, and all these kids did not give a fuck. Like their parents sent them there. They sent them with like a ton of money. Like I'm talking about kids from the UAE, Dubai. Like these guys are there to party. And so like it's cool because you network with a lot of these high net worth individuals, but these guys are partying every weekend, right? And like they're blowing cash. And like I had a budget of like 20 pounds, like 20 pounds, like 20 pounds a day, right? And like I could afford like a sandwich at school and like maybe a beer after, And so I was like, how do I make money fast? And so like I had a buddy of mine who was in the States at the time, and he was telling me about how the sneaker reselling market was massive, right? Jordans would drop, they'd sell out immediately, and they'd go up on eBay for like 3-4 times the price, right? And so I was like, well, I don't think there's that same mentality in the UK because it's a very big American thing, right? Jordans are basketball shoes. They don't really give a shit about basketball over there, but they still drop there. So what we found out was, how can we do this like arbitrage of get all these sneakers from the UK, ship them to the US, and we would have like buyers and resellers that are ready to go. So I'll be like, all right, this drop is coming out this Saturday. How many pairs do you want, and how much are you willing to buy them for? And so get the number. I round up all my boys because they're the ones with the cash. Go to the store, get everything, and then ship them out to the US.
Wow. Was it because they dropped there earlier than the US or something?
No,
no one wanted them.
Yeah, nobody wanted them. Dude, like
because they were cheaper. Like, what's the incentive?
No, but in the UK, who wears Jordans?
Right, but what's the incentive to buy them in there and ship them to the US if they're also dropping in the US? Is what I'm asking.
Because they would sell out.
No, they sell out here. You can't get them
instantly.
Okay.
Yeah, instantly.
So it's like 11s and stuff like that, like Jordan 11s and these type of things.
Ones, 3, like even Yeezys. Remember the first Yeezys that came out? They looked like the boot.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't even know how much we made off of that. Like, dude, imagine. There was one drop that it was a collaboration. I can't remember. And we must have picked up like 20 pairs. And I was buying them at resale value in the UK and selling it for even more in the US.
Wow.
So like they would drop for 100, let's say $100. I would buy them from people for 200 and sell it in the US for 300.
Damn.
And like
you were just shipping like just boxes and boxes here?
Boxes. Like my apartment was like a UPS store. That's what it looked like.
That's so funny.
And that is how I was able to afford to go out to these like clubs and stuff and like actually hang with the cool kids. But
have fun.
It taught me a lot of marketing, right? Because I did a lot of marketing on Twitter, right? A lot of the hype that was built behind these releases were done on Twitter, right? And so like when Nike releases something, it happens on Twitter. So I was just, basically following everybody, getting like, oh, this is going to be a good release. This is not, this and that. And we built up an account. It was called Cop Those Kicks, right? And so whenever we had like, leftover inventory that we're trying to sell, like we had an account that we could push inventory out. So we had our own Shopify store. We had this, we had that, and we had buyers. So you had a little bit of like D2C and like retail going on at the age of like 19. And so that's when I was like, you know what? Like, I'm good. Like I can make money out of everything. It kind of gives you that like ego boost, and you're like, shit, like anybody can do this. Like I'm making $1,000 on this release, $1,000 here at that. Like at the time,
I'm fucking
like,
rich.
Yeah, I'm rich. Like if I can afford 2 drinks at the bar, I'm good. You know. Yeah. So that's kind of what sparked it. And again, Ron, his wife now, I grew up with. We were best friends growing up, and so. I think one summer when I came back to visit, she said, hey, I want you to meet my boyfriend. And this is when Ron and Ankit were living together and they were working at Shreds. And I visited their apartment, and it was like, these guys are just, they have like their desks in their living room. Both of them just across from each other. They had like the hookah lit, and like they're just working, smoking hookah. And I was like, this is fucking sick. Like I want to do this. Like when can I, come out here? And so they were telling me about the company, and it just sounded super exciting. And so Ron said like, hey, like when you graduate, we need, somebody on the marketing team. We need to build that out. And I said, just give me 6 months. I'll get out there. So, he kept his promise, got me an interview with the CEO. I guess nailed the interview. And then that following Monday, I was in there, and it was like crazy.
So had you done media buying prior to that interview, or
no? So I told them like, hey, I'm about to graduate with my finance degree, and so I'm really good at analysis, and my whole course was analyzing cash flow statements.
Perfect. You can duplicate ad sets.
Yeah. But this was before even like media buying was a thing.
Yeah.
Like this was during the whole Instagram revolution of
What year was this?
chronological. This was 2016,
Okay.
2015. Yeah, and this was before the like ads were a thing. Like they were testing it, right? This was pre-algorithm update.
So what are you buying? Like shout outs and stuff like that?
Shouts,
Like
yeah.
IG, like big pages, meme pages, stuff like that.
so you didn't even need to know how to do media buying. You just needed
No.
to know how to market and be analytical, which you showed the marketing skills with the shoes, and you
And
had
how to
the
test
analytics.
like small tests, bigger tests, all this stuff.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
like the influencer marketing was kind of pioneered back then, where if you had 2 million followers and you posted, every single person saw it, which is why like as soon as you post it, you'd see this like spike in traffic.
Yeah.
Whereas now most of our accounts are all dead, right? It's like there's nothing there. So I was hired to do analytics for all that stuff. So all the marketing campaigns that they were doing, I was like, okay, hour by hour, which accounts were posting, what was the spike, what was the conversion rate, what was the revenue that was coming in, what kind of content was posted, analyzing what content should we post for, next week. And so that's where I got to understand how creative works, what conversion rate was and things like that. And then it came to that moment where the chronological order disappeared. And so that's where, Meta wanted to push ads, right? So if you wanted to reach your audience, you'd have to boost your post.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to make money.
Boost your post.
Boost your post.
Anyone
yeah.
ever do that?
and so
you
like,
ever did that?
I mean, at the beginning, you kind of had to.
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
it's like you're
That was
trying
like
to.
the ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Those
no
were the
ads
ads.
manager or anything.
There was
right?
no pixel. There was
Yeah.
no none of that.
You
It
gotta
was
boost the post, get some likes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was about engagement. Like fully, Facebook was a CPC, CTR like platform. Like, hey, how can I get my CPC down? How do I increase my CTR? And hopefully, I have a good conversion rate. Right?
Yeah, hope to
Oh,
God.
yeah, because you can't track your revenue.
You can't track anything.
Damn.
No.
Damn. So how do you even optimize? They're not even optimizing.
So this is, I almost feel like it's full circle now, because now people are so focused on creative offer landing
Organic.
page and all these things, where if you go back to 2016, that's what people were doing, because there was no pixel. There was no like optimization.
Go back to the roots.
Yeah. And it was all about pure marketing. What was different then than it is now is that it was way less competitive then, because nobody knew what they were doing. Right. And so you were getting like dumb cheap CPMs, like 4-5% click-through rates, like less than 50-cent CPCs, like the golden days. And you're like, all right, let's just arbitrage and like send a fuck ton of traffic and hopefully it converts. Right. And so like tracking at Shreds, they built their own internal tools. So like they would have, unique URLs, similar to how we use UTMs
UTMs.
What's
today.
like UTMs and everything?
Yeah, but like UTMs, codes, like that was the only way to track things. So, if somebody came from Facebook, it would be under this certain code or subdomain, right? And that's how we would track it. And we literally have this like tool that they built out of all subdomains, and each subdomain was like a different location. So if it was on the Facebook page or the Instagram page or
Jeez.
website 1, website 2, like they had so many websites.
Like
and-
all the different landing
organized.
pages and everything.
yeah. So it was like you'd have get1.shreds.com, get2.shreds.com. And it was like, how do you even, it was
A
crazy.
lot.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. So honestly, this is perfect, because like now I can ask you guys about all the media buying stuff and everything. Honestly, also for people who don't know what the hell media buying is, it literally means like paying for fucking Facebook and Instagram ads
for
all
exposure.
day.
Exactly.
Because funny enough, I didn't know what that term meant until like 2-3 years ago, because like people started using it.
Yeah.
And, like, because you think media buying, it's like what does that
What
mean?
does that even mean? Yeah.
But it literally just means like just like the
Advertising.
person who like pays for the ads and like does the ad
You
accounts
were
every
literally
day.
buying attention on this platform.
Exactly.
That's it.
So my first question is, when did you start? Like, when was your first ad account that you even saw?
Yeah. So this is around that time. It was at Shreds, and the first campaign that I set up was a retargeting campaign, right? So like anybody who visited the website, anybody who engaged with the page, we would set up an offer, one of the best offers that we could offer. And the theory was, all right, anybody who comes to the website, they don't buy, let's offer them something a little bit better, right? So crafted my first deal an offer that I came up with. I went to Arvin, who was the CEO at Shreds. I said, hey, what do you think about this offer? It's a $99 stack as a free gift, this and that. He's like, fucking run it. Let's see what happens. So I set up my first campaign, $1,000 a day. That shit brought in $10,000 a day.
Jeez. You're spending $1,000?
I was spending $1,000
10 ROAS.
and 10 ROAS.
Oh, man.
And I was like, all right.
I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing. Like, let's just pump this. And so it was just one of those things where it's like, all right, now you're addicted to this, right? It's like a game. It's how do you figure out what offer works? What's the creative that you need? What's the landing page that you need? How do you piece all that together and set up the ad? And I was like, this is like, it's like a game, like how do I turn $1 into 10?
Literally.
And so we were taking advantage of, the low cost at the time. And we're like, okay, well, can we use this platform for cold traffic instead of retargeting, right? Because Shreds at the time was massive. There was still a lot of organic traffic coming in from like the influencers and the athletes and stuff like that. So retargeting was bound to work. But how do we actually now leverage ourselves away from the algorithm that we were using, which was for paid shouts and this and that, and how do we actually get new people in the door? So that's where I started to kind of play around and like, set up these top of the funnel campaigns. How do we get new visitors in the door? And that's where it became, a little bit more difficult, because it's like now you have to convert this user on the first visit or the first 2 visits. Everything needs to be a lot more tight, right?
It's totally different.
It's way 100%. Different, right? So like, at the time, this is when people are like, all right, interest targeting,
like single interest targeting, this type of stuff.
Like lookalikes were the thing to do, right? And that's when you could get very specific with the seed audiences that you would want to use. Like, they had like 1 million plus customers. Out of that, who are the actual best customers? Like, who are the people who've spent $1,000 in their lifetime? Make a lookalike on that.
So my first question is, lookalike still working right now?
I don't think so. Here's the issue, right? I think at scale, what's gonna happen is that broad is probably gonna be your best bet.
So when you say broad,
it
means like when you're making that ad set or whatever. I haven't been an ads manager in a while. You both have. I'm gonna ask both of you honestly this. Yeah. So you're putting nothing as an interest right now.
Nothing, just age,
gender.
I
guess gender if you're putting women, right?
Yeah.
Location, and that's it.
And then exclude.
What about placement?
No, so I'd exclude customers, and then placement, you just run auto.
Auto.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And like what, $500 budget to start off type of thing?
Yeah. To test, I would say around there.
Shit, because like no BS. Like I remember when I haven't been an ad manager in a whole maybe 2 years. I haven't been an ads manager. It used to be like, hey, make $10 ad sets or whatever. Spend $100. Pick one audience per.
Yep.
And then the next day you wake up and you're like, all right, well this one got to sell. This one didn't get a sale. Scale this one up. Turn this one off. This type of thing. You're saying it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, I remember those days where it was like, what was it called? The shotgun method. I don't know if you guys are familiar. There's a shout out to the boy, Tim Bird. It was shotgun and surf method, which was you would literally have 20 ad sets. Each ad set would be like its own interest or lookalike or whatever it is, broad or different countries and this and that. And by like 12 p.m., you'd have maybe half of them doing really well. The other half didn't do anything. So you turn off those 10. And then by 3 p.m., out of those 10, 5 were doing really well. And then it's like, okay, now you surf those budgets. So you would just literally just double the budget and double it again. And like, it would fucking work.
Yeah.
Like now you can't do that, which is like, it's unfortunate. And it sucks because it's like, now it's like a waiting game. Like you have to be patient when you shouldn't touch your ad account more than once a week now. Whereas,
you really?
Yeah, no, I don't.
We should talk about that. Say that again, because that's a good short right there.
Yeah, no, like literally back then, you could literally just keep pushing the button, like double the budget,
multiple times a day.
Anything like, all right, this is working, crank it. Now it's like if you like even blow on that ad account, something will go wrong. Like that's why you gotta like set it, forget it, don't look at it in 7 days, and then make your optimizations. And if you are making optimizations, make sure you're doing everything at once, and then just let it do it. It's so finicky. It's
so pretty much every day. Like you're not like I used to be like midnight. I would check my ads or whatever, and then just at midnight. You're not doing that.
To a certain degree, it's still checking, right? It's
mostly
still
just
like,
for killing, though, right?
Yeah. If there's something that's like really just doing horseshit, and you're like, all right, this is affecting the rest of the business or on the day to day, like, yeah, I'm gonna cut it. But like, not not to push it more or try new things every day. You just got to let it figure itself out.
Really?
I'm like the learning phase has become a lot more prevalent
a real
as well.
thing.
So like when people like that's why those $10 budgets don't really work that well. Like whether it's a single interest or broad, the $10 budgets are tough because you need to get 50 conversions a week. So
Well, so then my next question though, because like, say you're a brand new brand, right? What the hell do you do?
you got to be ballsy with the budgets.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, think of it this way, right? If you have let's call it a $50 product, right?
Okay.
Let's assume your cost of acquisition ideally is 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's never gonna happen.
It's
But
never,
yeah.
it's never gonna happen.
That's the
but
target.
let's assume, right? So 25 times 50 conversions, right? Divided by 7 days.
Or 20 times 7.
Or yeah, 20 or yeah. And that's where it's like, okay, how much what is that daily? Like 200 bucks?
140.
140? Yeah. So 140, 150. That's how much you have to spend a day for this to figure it out. And then that too, it's
Wait,
like
so
just to, like, test.
explain why you have to spend that much to figure it out.
so ideally there's a learning phase, right? It's basically saying don't touch this until Facebook can get 50 conversions.
Oh, the 50 conversions. Got it.
in a 7-day span, and within those 7 days, you're gonna have volatility. It's gonna go up. You're gonna have a good day, bad day, but don't do anything until you get 50 in 7 days. And if you can't, then something's wrong, right? Either your budget's too low, the creative sucks, whatever. There's so many other reasons, right? But if you're starting out and you're saying, hey, I can only spend $10 a day, you're better off doing something else because you're not going to. You basically have to buy data up front to play the game now. Whereas
Interesting.
before, you could put $10 behind an ad set, get some cheap traffic, and see what works.
Just slowly build.
And then slowly
So you're
build.
saying if you need a $50 CPA, I got to spend $280 a day pretty much
Yeah,
for like a
350.
week.
350, yeah.
350.
Yeah.
So I got to spend like, what is that like?
What's up, New Money Talks fam? Unless you've been living under a rock, if you own an e-commerce brand or you're looking to get into e-commerce, you've probably heard of this incredible tool called shophunter.io. Now, ShopHunter has an incredible algorithm that actually scrapes information and data across millions of different Shopify brands for your personal gain. Whether you want to spy on your competition and see how much money they're making, or whether you want to see what products they're uploading for products that you can sell on your own website, ShopHunter's got it all. Once you sign up and make an account, this is what the dashboard looks like. You're going to have a top performers section, which is my personal favorite, and also my ShopHunter section. And under top performers, you have top stores, top products, and top tracked. Now, top stores will actually show you the highest gross revenue generating stores over the last 24 hours across millions of different Shopify brands so that you can see what's working for them, what products they're selling, what niche they're in, to reverse engineer what's working and to get inspiration on what products you can sell. Then we have top products. Top products shows you the highest gross revenue generating singular products on some of these different brands and literally hands you potential winning products on a silver platter. And then lastly, in the My Shop Hunter section, you can actually spy on specific brands that you can keep track of, right? So you will select a brand, you'll have the opportunity to see what Shopify website that they're running, you'll have the opportunity to see where the product lies, maybe on AliExpress, and you can keep track of maybe some of the new products that they uploaded, right? And we all know the saying, good artists copy, great artists steal. So if you want to take some of these products and directly import them to your store, they're probably going to have a significantly higher likelihood of success than any other random product that you stumble across on AliExpress. So don't take my word for it. Check out the link in the description, download Shop Hunter, and see for yourself how incredibly powerful this tool is. Make sure that you mention that New Money Talk sent you, and the Shop Hunter team will take care of you. Now let's get back to the podcast.
3K or something in like a week
Just a test.
just to test.
yeah,
And like it might not even work.
yeah. 100%.
So, and what are we testing now?
And
We're
that's
testing like
that's one ad set.
One ad set,
we're testing like one creative on one landing page pretty much.
No,
on
you,
one
I mean,
offer.
you could do multiple creatives and
Yeah,
but like
I would say like
but you're
4 or
probably
5
not. But like
creatives.
when you like first test a new offer, it's probably gonna be
No,
one
because
landing
I'm only
page,
asking this because there's so
couple
many
creatives.
brands now. I've seen that like, all right, they go out, they raise $2 million, they have a beautiful brand, nice product. It's like, oh, it looks D2C and everything. Yeah. And then they go to launch, and the first day is just like, my mom bought it, my sister bought it, my grandma bought it, but like no one in Wisconsin bought this. You know what I mean? And that's when you know you have a real company, right? Yeah. I'm gonna start there because like I want to for people who are launching, like what can they even do? Can they do anything? Like you fucked.
TikTok organic.
Yeah, literally.
TikTok organic.
Like build your organic foundation.
But make sure you have a pixel on your website the whole time.
Yes, exactly. Right. I think we're at this point where I think you need to have an organic presence for your paid efforts to amplify that, right? So one thing that we kind of messed up on was, and again, this is prior to the update. This is back in like 2019 where you could profit on Facebook, right? So we just went straight for ads and a few influencers. Influencers would help the organic reach, paid ads would amplify it, and that's just the way that it worked. Now, because there's a higher cost of entry for smaller brands, that unless you have like 10K a month to just blow on testing, it's not going to work, right? And so what you have to end up doing is the organic stuff, whether that's TikTok, whether that's seeding to influencers and hoping that they post and things like that. Like Instagram Reels is
like Facebook Reels,
Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Just how can you get an organic presence quickly? And I think it's seeding to influencers and just posting on these accounts.
Is AOV very important right now? I know the answer to that, but like, what do you think about AOV?
I think I think people there's two things that you have to think about here, right? One, if you are a consumable and you have something that has a high repurchase rate, then I think having an okay AOV is fine.
What's okay mean?
I think it has to be above 50 at least, minimum, like absolute minimum. Yeah. Because one, I don't see like, unless you have like a really cool product where you can showcase like these like drop shipping type of products, right?
Like trendy.
Those
like trends. Yeah,
but they all have short life cycles.
Yes, right. That's where you can hit that like sub $20 CAC, right? At least in my opinion. But when you're in supplements like us, you're competing against so many brands that to acquire a $50 AOV, having a $50 CAC at a 1x return is like decent, right? You're not making money on the first order, but because you have a high repurchase rate, then you're okay with the LTV of it, right?
So you can wait the 6-month payback period, whatever it is, 3 months.
Again, and that's if you have the cash to wait, right? Whereas certain brands that, like for example, we have a product that's a weight loss product, really low LTV, but really high conversion rate. So what I end up doing is that if I can profit on the first order, I'm good. If they end up coming back, great. If they don't, I already made my money, right? So that's why I'll push AOV. So how can I get 6 months of product into their hand? So it's like $129 and like my CAC can be like $60, right? 60, $70 and I'm still profitable, right? So I think there's two things there where if you want to like apparel, right? Sometimes there isn't that high of a repurchase rate, especially if you're buying like a really like a cool sweater or whatever it is. Yeah. You have to be profitable on the first order. Otherwise, where are they going to go, right?
Literally.
So that's what I think about it. If you have something that you can consume or it's a like a supplement or whatever it is, can you get that customer to come back month 2, month 3? Then I think having an okay AOV is fine. But if it's like a one-time purchase, like it's tough unless you have a really solid margins to like afford to scale up.
Definitely.
So in short, LTV is more important than AOV.
Depends on the brand. I agree. I like
because you can't force LTV.
Yeah. You can't. That's where like a lot of these brands that are supplements, like when we first started, we had to make sure we were profitable on the first order or break even, right? And that's where we leaned on influencers to get that cheap traffic. But again, influencers and things like that, it's
not cheap anymore.
It's not cheap anymore, right? And they're not consistent. The traffic from there is not always going to convert, right? So like back then, which is when we really ripped like influencers whitelisting and got cheap, cost of acquisitions, we built up this customer base. Now, post iOS update, when CACs have increased and it's very difficult to become profitable on the first order, it's fine to break even or even lose a little bit because we have returning customers that can bolster revenue and bolster profit as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Another question I have about like ad buying, because people are always this is like another, like, do you guys think this is like the golden ticket to e-commerce though? It is, right? Like a lot of these brands are just on the back of like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, right? That's the truth at this point.
It is. I mean, Facebook is going to be that like main driver, as much as everybody like hates on it and the day to day, it's like, oh, like how's performance today? Whatever.
Like the second if your ads like not won't happen.
Yeah.
If your ads turned off tomorrow for like a month,
Yeah.
revenue would change drastically, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's for all these online brands, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think what will happen is that acquisition will drop substantially, right? I think there's a lot of great brands out there that have really solid returning customers. So like, you'll be stupid profitable.
You might have your most profitable month.
Yeah, you'll probably have your most profitable month, but then it'll start to
Not for
trickle
long.
down
Trickle down,
because you have to keep filling the
bucket.
tank
Yeah.
with new customers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
So another thing, are you like, say for Avi, for example, are you targeting like one offer, one product? Are you targeting like a collection of products? You targeting a homepage? I don't think you're targeting a homepage, but like some people think send to the homepage. But
yeah. So I think right now we have 3 funnels going. We have our weight loss product, like I mentioned, right? Just high volume. Can we bring in a bunch of people, break even or be a little bit profitable? Then we have our collagen funnel, which is, the higher LTV stuff because it tastes great. People want it. They buy one, then they come back and buy another flavor. They come back and buy another flavor, right? And then a new product that we just launched, which is a burn collagen powder, which we reformulated recently, and we got some really cool patented ingredients so we can make some crazy claims. And so like that is going to take off because 1, it's a weight loss product. 2, it's a consumable. That actually tastes really good. So it's like you can add it to your water or your shake, whatever you want to drink it, versus like the burn, which is like a capsule. People are going to take capsules. They're like, it doesn't work. Like, I'm out. Right.
Interesting.
So we try to put the two together and create, a really cool product. And I think that's what we did. But, we're running 3 funnels right now. All have its different purposes, right? One's just cash. One is acquiring customers for LTV. And then one is the new test that we're running.
Interesting. So my next question, if you're doing broad targeting, right, how are you dissecting the 3 different customers at each thing? You know what I mean? Like that's a valid ass question.
Yeah. So I've been going back and forth about this for a while just because what ends up happening is and I think a lot of media buyers have different stances on this. At least for me, what I think is happening is that if you're running one funnel for so long, Facebook knows who that audience is like the back of their hand, right? We've spent $8 million on this funnel. Like, hey, this is a weight loss person. Let's send it to Avi, right? Now I toss in another product that's more beauty related, not weight loss, but like hair, skin, and nails. Okay. Sure, there might be some overlap. People want to lose weight, also want, healthier hair, skin, and nails. Maybe it's not a priority. So what happens is that when you do launch the secondary funnel, immediately those ads are going to be served to this warm audience that you've been targeting with the other funnel, right? So if somebody came in, they saw a weight loss ad, they might start seeing the collagen ad, right? And that's not what they came for. And that's why you'll probably see like low click-through rates on this ad, high CPCs, low conversion rates, because it's circling that warm audience first. And that's where you have to get a little creative in like either really using exclusions really well.
Yeah, like
so
audience segmentation.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So excluding visitors, excluding your customers, maybe even excluding like page engagers, like your really like warm audience. Or what I do is, and again, some of you buyers may disagree with this. It's working for us, so deal with it. I open up another ad account. So this ad account has its own like data and everything. I created a new Facebook page, so I'm not targeting the same warm audience that's circling our main page. And so like it's siloing it as best as you possibly can. And so that helps it start to find the right audience quicker.
Interesting.
Right? And so for each funnel, what I'm trying to do is have a Facebook page or an Instagram account for that specific funnel, right? And what you can do is like the Instagram account, we created like Obvi Super Collagen, right?
Yeah,
the grid is probably just the benefits. So when you look at it, you don't need to post on it consistently, but if somebody clicks the ad, they go to the Instagram page, they're like, oh, this is more like a poster, like a billboard. And then in the description it says, or the bio, it says, go follow our original account, right? Avi. And then they can go and see everything. But at least from a targeting perspective, I know that I'm as much silo, I'm in much of a silo as I possibly can to like avoid the overlap. and I let Facebook just do
I
its
like
thing.
that. So for the newbies out there, you can have unlimited pages, Instagram accounts. It doesn't
For
matter.
those who are drop shipping, I was just gonna say, if you're D2C, you can get away with that. If you're drop shipping, you get flagged for circumvention left and right. If you have more than one page running to an offer, so that's why I'm surprised like you guys can do that. But also like Facebook looks at you guys and they're like, this is a legit brand, so you can get away with a lot of stuff.
Well, you probably have a killer feedback score and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
too.
same thing with like weight loss, right? Like most like. That's got to be tough to get compliancy, right?
I mean, here's the thing. Again, this is probably like unofficial, but like we have a credit line with Facebook, right? It's like almost $2 million. So like they want us to spend that, right? Because they want us to pay them after that 30-day, 60-day, whatever it is. I've pushed the limit on stuff like before and afters, and like you'll get flagged, but then you just hit the request, you send it to the rep will push it through, and you're good to go. Whereas like brands will get shut down immediately.
No, I know.
So like it's unofficially saying this, but like there is preference based. Like people are giving, you know.
But you didn't have this starting in the beginning.
Nah.
This is taking money and years.
I mean, we've spent
up.
over $20 million. Like with, you know, like if it's not a lot, but it's not a little, right? So there should be, but it's nice that there is preferred treatment, you know, if you can, you know,
it's like you go to a hotel, you get a nicer suite, they're gonna give you a little bit better treatment. They're gonna give you a breakfast voucher, a dinner voucher, a massage,
a parking voucher.
Like here's free parking.
Yeah. Like, but it takes time. Like even in the first like year, you guys probably weren't given that credit. It probably took maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Like at the Wynn in Las Vegas, you got to spend a lot of money in the casino before they start giving you the free vouchers.
drinks,
you know what I mean?
Free drinks. Yeah. Like you can use a fuck ton of money and they'll still be like, like here's a free brunch buffet, and it's like, really, like just lost 10 grand.
So I got a question for those who are listening, whether they're creatives or they're media buyers. What's more important, the ad creative or the media buying strategy?
Ad creative. Yeah, 100%. And because I'm on both sides, right? I am the media buyer. I'm also the creative strategist to a certain degree. It really takes one piece of creative to really unlock the account, right? The account structure is going to help, but only to a certain degree, right? That's why, like, if you're using the same creatives and you look back on like a 4 or 6 month window and you don't see any like breakthrough, it's not because of the account structure. It's because the creative sucks, or like you're not using the right offer, right? And I'll give you an example of, there's one thing that we tested, which was, how do I sell more collagen up front, right? Because the current offering was like get a 3-month supply or a 1-month supply, okay? And my like CAC to AOV was 1-to-1, right? And I was like, okay, well, if my AOV is 70, how do I make it 100? So I was like, all right, let's add in a 6-pack to it. My AOV jumped to like 100 something, but my CAC went through the roof, right? So it wasn't even 1-to-1 anymore, right?
It was worse.
It was worse. So there's something to be said about the offer as well, where you can't just expect people to spend more, right? Especially on something that is very heavily around taste. And so like they're not gonna buy 6 canisters or something they've never tasted, right? So maybe the opposite will work, right? What if I decrease the AOV? What if I sell like a starter pack, 1 flavor, free shaker cup, free funnel, free frother, whatever? Can I increase my conversion rate and drop my CAC, right? And that was a test that we ran over the last 2 weeks, and it actually went the other way. So like you're assuming that you have to increase your AOV to account for the increase in CAC, but if you have a really solid offer, then you can get away with, you know, dropping the AOV and just pushing out more product, right? Yeah. So that's and so what I'm saying is that offer is huge. Then you have the creative too, right? I think we're going through this like inflection point where like UGC creative is just fucking everywhere, right? Everybody and their mothers is a UGC creator, and it's like, here's something that I found on TikTok. I'm obsessed with this. Like,
what's the next thing?
Isn't the problem solution creative the best solution though?
It is.
But you can do that through UGC.
Hasn't it always been? But like Javi does a good job with this. Or like Justin does a good job. You know, where it's just like coffee, like big X, like don't buy Starbucks, like a dark screen.
Those
with
are like
a big
professional
red X.
UGC, like a hybrid.
They are. So that's where it gets a little different, because especially with Javi's creative, it's not. It is. You can tell it's an ad. Right, it is, but they're really good at making it.
But like it evokes people to like click on it or like get to the next piece. You know?
they're like their first 3 seconds in any video is either like really like weird or like really funny, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're watching it, you know it's an ad, but it's entertaining. When you have like the same chick who's filming like, I am literally obsessed with this one thing I found on TikTok.
TikTok made me buy it.
TikTok made me buy it. Like I'm scrolling past that like
yeah.
so fast, right? So how can you like visually stop somebody? Like how can you interrupt the pattern of what they're doing? They're on their bed, scrolling TikTok, watching whatever. And then you're like, you see this ad and it's like, I'm obsessed. Like you're skipping through that, right?
Yeah.
How can it be something a little different, right? One of the ads that's like performing really well for us, and we got a little backlash from it, but it's because the engagement is like through the roof. It helps costs and stuff. So like it could be like rubbing people the wrong way, but we have the capsules. So like the first 3 seconds is like the girl like funneling capsules in her mouth, right? And so like it is borderline, it can be borderline offensive, like if somebody has like a drug problem or something like that, right?
I didn't even think about
yeah,
that.
like
Jeez.
but like the comments that come in, it's like, oh, this is not right, right?
It's not cool.
And like as a media buyer, it's hard to say like, well, this is our best performing
Well,
ad
that's
in
the
the
best one because
account.
they have the engagement.
And so like, do people understand that it's just a joke? And like that's where you have to figure out, you know, what the line is there. But
middle ground.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But that's the shit that you need to do to stop somebody in their tracks, even though they know it's an ad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, what is this? Like, let me check this out, right?
100%.
And this UGC shit needs to end.
Yeah.
Have you seen that brand Umzu? Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
This guy's like a killer on YouTube.
He's a beast.
He sells like they're like poop pills or something like that.
There's
like
a bunch of stuff. One of them is it's like a gut cleanser,
Yeah.
but he advertises it like with, you know, taboo wording. He's like, did you know at any given point you have 18 pounds of toxic
Okay, I think I've
waste
seen that,
sitting in
yeah.
your stomach?
Uh-huh.
It's really good.
But that's like the first like 3 second hook that just gets
Yeah,
people
you're
like,
like,
oh, what the hell
fuck?
is this?
Yeah.
And then like they
you gotta
start
make
like,
him say like, what the fuck?
what the fuck? Exactly. Like, what the fuck's a good like?
Yeah.
How do you get someone to say what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I'm sure like there's other shit that you could do, right? Like get some brownie batter and like just stick your hand in it. You know, it's just like, whoa, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like one of those things.
Have you ever seen those ads? Like, I remember like Dr. Squatch used to do a lot of this.
Yeah.
There's another company called Beard Club that did a lot of them too. It was like kind of like those high
quality,
high production quality,
Yeah.
like they were really funny at the same time.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried that? It doesn't work.
No, it works. I mean, that's how these brands like blew up. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like Casper did them, Purple did them, Dr. Squatch, like they're all like Dollar Shave Club, you know, what's all that? Manscaped, you know, like all these guys like crushed with it. The thing is that this content is very expensive. Like you're talking like high production value, like 4K camera.
Like how much are they spending on these videos? You think?
Oh, anywhere from
Multi-five
like 50 to 100K plus.
Really?
Easily. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And a low end, like
so then you have to
20K.
hope to God that this video works too.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that these brands will do this when they've already like,
Taken off.
yeah.
So they have the money to
Like
be
this is for
Yeah.
pure brand awareness now.
Oh, interesting.
It's not for your mom and pop like soap shop.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And this is what they run on like connected TV now and TV commercials because now they have the money to push brand awareness and they have the ability to actually track what this lift is, right? And so that's where you can repurpose it for Facebook and things like that. And I think they do. And it does get a lot of engagement and I'm sure it helps. But again, it's very costly. You know?
Have you guys tried TV? I
Like Hulu ads.
I want to.
You know Black Wolf Nation?
Yeah.
Like I'm
Scrubber.
buddies with them, like Sam and Alex. Shout out, you guys might watch this. They're like on CNBC a lot, like on networks like that, and they have like a nose. I think it's an ear cleaner now.
Yeah.
Like it's called Whoosh.
Yeah.
And like like the CPMS on TV are better than Facebook.
Yeah.
Like
They are.
Yeah.
Have you guys thought about this stuff?
Yeah, and so to my point is that you really need a high quality piece of content. Like when Hulu released their self-serve service, we had something that we thought was high quality. We uploaded it and they're like, "Nah, this is not
Really?
quality."
Oh, really?
enough." And we're like, "Well, we don't have you know, production value and things like that." And we thought it was, right? So there is some barrier to entry there. There are a lot of, you know, agencies that can get you there. Like, I mean, if you go and look at like Athletic Greens and stuff, right?
Oh,
Like they crush. And a lot of these agencies are in New York or LA. And, you know, we've talked to a few of them. And as much as we really want to work with them, it's tough to justify like 50 grand for like 2 pieces of creative.
Yeah.
with no media spend behind
With
it
no
either.
media spend.
And you
behind
can only repurpose that into so many videos.
it. Yeah, exactly. Right.
And then on Facebook it doesn't even work though. That's the next thing.
It's a hit or miss, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's like fucking funny, like Dr. Squatch shit,
Yeah.
or it's like high quality polish what AG is doing. But they don't care what their CAC is right now. They have so much in returning revenue from subscriptions. Like they're just tossing money and seeing if they can get like their 12-month LTV is massive.
Well, actually, I think you use a great example. So, like, how does a company like that get so many subscribers? Like, obviously, that offer that they run is like crazy high AOV.
Yep.
So who knows what the hell their CAC is on that?
Yep.
Like, how did they even get to that point? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? Have you seen the stuff? I'm sure you've seen the inside of these things.
No, I don't. I mean, you can only guess, right?
Yeah.
And you can. Some people are like, "Oh, I know what it is," or like nobody really knows, right?
Yeah.
I think for brands like this, that one that can go the first 4 or 5 years producing or proving the concept out, right? I think one thing I like to say is that you're not truly a brand until you're at like 50 million, right? Because you can do so many things up until that point to really figure it out. Like the product that you launch on day 1 may not even be around year 2 or year 3 because that probably wasn't the right fit, right? Because you're continuously innovating and you're listening to feedback and, you know, maybe like, for example, our collagen, right? Like our fruity cereal collagen, like maybe people don't want the sweet tasting stuff anymore. Maybe they want like watermelon, you know what I mean? Like they want the juice flavors. So that's where within that first 50 million, you're really figuring out what sets you apart from everybody else and what's like going to hit, right? Then you get to the point where like, all right, now you're into that 50 on your way to 100 million. You're like, all right, I got to make moves as a brand, right? And that's where like, if you made yourself up to 50 million, you're profitable, go and raise money and you have enough data to say, hey, my LTV at 12 months is X. I can afford $100, $200 CAC. And you know what? I'm going to unleash on every platform known to man, right?
Interesting.
That's where everybody was saying like Athletic Greens, you see them everywhere. Facebook ads, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, like YouTube, you know, like connected TV. Like I don't know what the CACs are on there, but I'm sure they don't even care. I'm sure there's a high threshold for them where, all right, I could spend $200 knowing that my LTV is like $1,200.
Damn.
You know? And for like a brand that's just starting, you don't have any of that data. You don't have like the free will to go and spend all this kind of cash on acquisition because you have to be profitable in the first order.
For sure. Let's reel it back a little bit because not everyone's spending $8 million a year on ads. So say you do spend that 10 racks, right, to test out stuff. You actually spend 20 racks, right, to test out. You're like, damn, I want to figure this out.
Right.
At what point do you like, oh, this works? Like what is? Are you profitable on it? Are you not profitable? Like if you were in that shoe of like you're in your first 4 or 5 months of a brand, you just spent like, I don't know, 10, 20-ish K. How do you know if it's like I should just quit on this or just keep going?
Yeah.
So I think the story with us is that when we were running
you're also like not in 2023.
Yeah.
Like you guys started in 2019.
2019.
It's a very different game.
It was.
2023 is a little,
Up in the air.
in the air.
Yeah. So the goal was to break even and just acquire a bunch of customers, right? So at the time, we also had our marketing agency. So like lifestyle and everything was paid for. It's fine, right? We could afford rent. That's all we cared about, right? So can we break even and in 3 months acquire enough customers that we start to see returning revenue, okay? It's a gamble because people could hate the product and never come back, or people start to come back and you're like, oh shit, we got something, right? So on month 1, we were still trying to figure out how can we be break even or profitable. And we sold out in 2 weeks, right? And we brought it back and we bought even more inventory. And that was the scariest moment because now we're playing with money that like we almost don't have. And so we have to make this work. So when you start to scale up now, you're now hitting this like Q4, like Black Friday, like December, where it's a slower period of time for supplements because January is when things pick back up, right? New year, new me. So
New year, new me.
right?
That's a slogan right there.
That's a thing. It's a thing. And so what we ended up seeing is that you're kind of breaking even, you're losing a little bit. You're seeing some customers kind of trickle in and you're like, wait, like if we start to lose money this early on, how are we going to push this, right? And that's where we started to do the mom and pop shops where we would have retail orders or B2B orders.
Interesting. Okay.
Right? So like half of the revenue came in from these mom and pop shops, like supplement stores or like beauty salons or whatever it is that could help us give us a little bit more cushion in terms of profitability so that I could spend a little bit more on the CAC and acquire more customers.
How'd you guys get those mom and pop shops?
Just reaching out to like everybody we possibly could, right?
How about like Intimans?
Yeah. Oh, that was like much later. Yeah, that was like when we like established like the brand, or I guess when we had, you know, a substantial amount of people in our community and customers and things like that.
Way later.
So that's kind of a hack then. Like, like spend break even, little loss, but like kind of get the money
Make the
back
money
with a little
elsewhere.
wholesale type of thing.
Yeah, like
somewhere
get
else.
scrappy with, because it's risk mitigation at the end of the day.
Yeah, like if you want to grow quickly, right? We could have probably went the first 4 months spending $100 a day, and $100 brought in $200, and we were profitable. Like that's not going to get us anywhere.
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
Like how do we grow this thing, right? So in order to do that, Ron was like, you know what? I'm going to hit up every single supplement store that I possibly can. Tell them, hey, we have this new product. It's flavored collagen. People are interested. They like the branding. We got it into stores in like Texas, Florida, Cali, and like that gave us, like we'd have orders that would give us at the time was like 25K in profit, right? So I can go and take that 25K in profit and go slam ads, right?
Damn.
And then you start to like compound on the stuff where now returning customers come back, you're doubling down on the investment, and then like instead of B2B being 50% of your orders, it slowly becomes 40, 30, 20 because now you're scaling up on D2C.
And in these early days, how do you get all these ads? Like, are you making them with your iPhone?
Yeah. So a lot of the ads that we ran at the time like were just lifestyle imagery, right? Like today you see all these ads with a lot of text on it, but this was before they had that 20% text rule, right? So you can only have 20% of text on your image, or they would
Like penalize it.
Yeah, they'd penalize you, right? It's like they'd cap impressions or whatever it is. So we didn't usually run anything with like text on it. And so we had somebody that we made a deal with who said, hey, we'll give you equity, give us some photography, this and that. And so like we just got shots like of all of our products, and that's what we ran. Ankit would make an ad here and there. He hates making ads. So like, it's like one of those things where like, dude, like we just have to do it.
We
like,
gotta get it done.
You have to get it done, and so we would just make things internally. And this was before like video is where we could even afford to create videos.
Yeah.
And it was just images. And so did what we could, lifestyle imagery, boom, you kind of walk into like January 2020, and then COVID happened. And that was like the breakout for us because everybody's online. All these big retailers are pausing ad budgets because they can't run anything. They're not set up for online. So CPMs drop. Conversion rate almost doubles overnight because we're a health.
How much are you spending then, like per day?
At the time, it was like, again, this is like peanuts, but we were spending $1,000 a day. Like overnight, we could spend $5K.
Wow.
So it was working fine.
And it was working fine because you just saw this like spike.
So how do you go from spending 1,000 to 5,000? What do you do to do that? You're just duplicating ad sets?
Yeah, no, but so at the time, it's like I was just bumping the budget.
Just bumping budget?
Just bumping the budget.
Like every day, how much are you going up type of thing?
20% every day, right?
Until it like breaks. It's not breaking.
Yeah, and it wasn't breaking, right?
Wow.
And so we were just riding this wave of like, okay, there's a point now where we're acquiring enough customers. Because there is a point where if you acquire too many customers and returning revenue isn't coming up with it, then you start to lose a lot of money, right? So we were like, all right, let's just acquire where we can, let the returning revenue come in. And then there was one day where there was this massive spike in revenue. And we're like, what the fuck is happening? And there was this influencer that had 2 million followers on Facebook, randomly saw an ad, purchased Obvi, and posted about it. Okay, so now this is somebody, she's like this Midwestern mom. All of her videos get millions of views right off the bat, right?
Free.
Yeah. And so she just got out of, I think she had like a weight loss surgery. So the video was weight loss surgery, new protein shake to try. That was the only thing that was said on the video. And that day we literally like, I think we like hit 30K for the first time in daily revenue.
Damn.
Wow.
And it was like, where the fuck is this happening? Like, where's this coming from? Because it's definitely not the ads.
Like, I didn't even know Shopify can go this high.
Yeah, like we were like, what is going on? And we found the source of traffic was coming from this influencer. Immediately watched it's a 20-minute long video.
Damn.
Imagine
Speaking
that.
like positively of it.
Yeah.
That's content right there.
That. Yeah. Like you're thinking like, oh, I got to pump out 15, 30-second videos. This lady's talking about your product for 20 fucking minutes and people are slamming orders, right? So again, this is where it's like, all right, like, okay, now how do we get in touch with her? How can we set up a deal with her? Like, what can we give
Like
her?
harness
This and
that.
How do we, how do we harness this, right? So hit this influencer up, gave her a deal, said, hey, we'll give you 20% commission of everything. You just brought in 30K. We'll pay you 6K right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's fine. Like, we'll do it moving forward and shit. But like, we showed her what could be done. And so that's why, like, when you try to structure deals with influencers now, people want like, oh, I want upfront payment.
Yeah.
But with her, it's like she already proved herself, and we're like, we're willing to give you 20%.
And she's like, ooh.
And she's like, like 6K a day, fuck yeah, that's great for me. And I was like, it's great for me too, you know. So got her account whitelisted. She made like an update part 2 of her experience with Obvi a couple weeks later.
Jeez.
So every couple weeks she's putting out videos.
And you're ripping.
We're ripping ad spend, right? Like that's where I went from literally.
Are you taking her video and everything and running ads with that?
Yeah.
With like her face on the top and everything? You do all that type of stuff? Like her name?
Profile. Yeah. I would take
That used to be the thing.
Yeah. It still is.
It still is.
It's a hack. Yeah. I mean, like to get lower, it looks more organic,
Yeah.
right? So literally I would take the post ID, right? That specific post and just put it into my ad set and let it rip. 20-minute long video.
Really?
That I'm just letting rip, right? Then what I would do is like before we had anybody on the team, like I would take that 20-minute video, chop it up,
shorten it,
do what I could do with it, have a 30-second vision, 60, whatever.
Ash had no clue what he's doing.
Yeah, no, like I'm just like, how do I make more of this, you know?
Yeah.
And so there was a moment in time where we were spending, like I said, like 10K a day, and the numbers were just going up. Like I'm like, Ron, like what do we do? Like, and we're profitable on the first order because this is influencer shit. Like the CAC was unreal, like unheard of, right? So we're like, all right, how do we slam this? And so I told Ron, I was like, I'm about to double budgets like overnight. And he's like, all right, send it.
It's like, don't break it, bro.
Like, and I was like, it could break. It could break. But at this time we were like, we're printing cash. We're in the middle of fucking COVID. Like this is not ending anytime soon. Let's just test it. And so we literally I went in and changed the number 10 to 20. And the next day we doubled revenue.
So like 10K to 20K, just like that.
Yeah, just
and
like
nothing
that.
broke.
Nothing broke.
You weren't scared.
Wow.
I was scared.
You were scared.
But I woke up and I'm like, we're double the amount of revenue.
Most people would say you're crazy.
Yeah, 100%. And so we just
it must have felt amazing.
Yeah, you just ride that wave.
You started riding that wave.
Ride that wave, and then rode that wave all the way to what, June 2021 when COVID iOS update happened, and that's when shit fucking
hit the fan.
So I got a question for you then. During that time when you start ripping this and you got 20K, right? Are you thinking in your head, I got to find other like offers, channels, landing pages are going to work too while this is ripping because like it's not going to last forever? Or you just like let it fly?
I let it flow.
Just let it do its thing.
I let it do its thing. I didn't test a single thing.
Is that good or bad though?
It was bad.
You should have been testing.
I should have been testing.
Probably
like
tripled the amount.
100%. We made one landing page, and that was it. We made no optimization.
And it was the same ad for like months.
Same ad. Like I have that one ad had $1 million in spend.
So what were you doing all day? Like no bullshit, no offense.
No, we were pumping out. So that's when we were like, all right, how do we pump out releases, right? So we had.
It's like you weren't the ads manager every fucking day.
No, well, I would know. So like I was just surfing the budget.
You're like,
like fuck it, yeah, like
little bit of like maintenance, nothing crazy.
I was just and so I would test a few new ads here and there, but like it really wasn't as much as what we're doing now. Like probably another 5 ads that got tossed in there. Try to see if it could compete with his influencer.
It doesn't. But
it doesn't.
Yeah, whatever. This one's still working.
Yeah, this is still working. Let's just crush it, right? And like there was no sign of slowing down, and so. That's when we were doing the product releases. So we were acquiring all these customers from this influencer. We would launch a new flavor instantly, like a 6-figure day. Then 2 weeks later, launch another flavor, another 6-figure day.
Damn.
And you're just like, what the fuck is happening? We're just printing cash. And so
this is like all profitable.
All profitable, like just dumb money.
Damn.
Like, and we're just like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like this is what it
feels like to run a D2C
This is
company.
what it feels like. Yeah, exactly. Like this is fully normal.
Did you think you were D2C this whole time, or you think I'm just like an e-commerce ad buyer type of guy? Because it's just like a weird thing.
Still like a savage element.
Yeah,
just like a savage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. Like I'm ripping these ads. Like, you go and you talk to these guys. Like, yo, we just hit 40K today.
Here's a
50K.
screenshot.
Yeah, here's a screenshot. Like. Oh, then we had our first Black Friday, right? That Black Friday, I think we did 100K in like 3 hours or something.
Jeez.
Yeah, and we're like sitting. This is when we were kind of back in the office, and like we had like a TV and we had the Shopify dashboard up, and like Black Friday we launched at like 7 p.m. And like 3 hours later you just hit 100,000. You're like sitting there looking at the numbers like, what the fuck did we create?
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
And then
Like a lot of middle-aged moms across the country have bought my collagen.
yeah. And and then iOS happened. It also happened around this. So the influencer, she got a deal with somebody or at CBS or something.
Oh,
so she
shit.
wasn't able to work with brands anymore.
Wow.
So at the same time iOS update happened, she also pulled out.
You lost your best
We
influencer.
lost the best influencer, and that's when shit hit the fan. I'm like scrambling to like, she like pulled her access for her page, so I can't run, her ads. So I took her ads and run them on our page, and it didn't have the same
work as well.
effect and this and that. And so we literally saw our cost of acquisition go from like $25 to $100, like in about 30 days.
Jeez.
And I'm like, I'm not the fucking man anymore. Like, you guys got to replace me. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And it was,
Were you low-key in a shitty place?
yeah.
Like,
I was like, what do I do? But
Yeah.
also at the same time, I was like, why am I not testing more? Why haven't I done more to figure this out? And I kept trying to make the same thing work and work and work. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why am I forcing something to work again when it's just clearly not? And how do I become a marketer, right? Like, how do I go back to what I was supposed to do? Right. And that's testing more creatives,
Like
figuring out the right-
proactiveness instead of
Yeah.
reactiveness.
Exactly.
Because the whole time you're just like, thank God Facebook.
Yeah, like fucking
Yeah.
Facebook's flying. What do I need to do? Like when things are going well is when you become the most complacent, right?
Yeah.
And that's where brands will fail. It's
dangerous place.
It's a dangerous place because you should be.
What is up, New Money Talks fam? Just want to talk today about today's sponsor, Surge Battery Metals Inc., stock ticker NILIF. This is crazy. Tesla co-founder startup gets $2 billion from the US to boost EV battery production. Let's just talk about this one actually. Surge Battery Metals Inc. What it is, it's an exploration stage company engaged in the acquisition, exploration, and development of mineral properties in North America focused on lithium and nickel. The company owns 100% interest in its flagship property, the Nevada North Lithium Project, made up of 243 mineral claims. Let's look at several reasons why NILI or NILIF, depending on what exchange you're on, could be poised for significant upside in 2023. Massive lithium bull market, Inflation Reduction Act. Surge Battery Metals has announced a recent significant lithium discovery on its Nevada Lithium Project, which values up to 5,950 ppm. What else can we look at? EVs represent a $7 trillion global market opportunity between today and 2030, and $46 trillion between now and 2050. Wow. As you can see, there's a spotlight on lithium. New bull run expected in the energy storage metal, as you can see by this graph. Now, to be clear, this is not financial advice, and we always recommend to do your own due diligence and research. But if you're looking for a company that is at the forefront of the EV battery production movement, look at Surge Battery Metals Inc., stock ticker NILIF, as they have had groundbreaking discoveries.
Loading up ammo instead of just depleting it,
Yeah.
So that's one of my biggest mistakes. And I tell these guys all the time, like, those periods where shit was really bad, like, that's on me, right? Like, I'm not testing enough. I'm not trying to figure things out. Like, I don't know what the answer is, but the answer is staring you right in the face, where it's like, you've used the same ad
For 2 years.
for 2 years. Why are you not creating new ads, right?
Yeah.
And so that's when it was like, all right, Uncle, get in the room. We're gonna fucking make ads. Like, hey, we gotta hire creators. We gotta do this. TikTok is coming up. Let's make TikToks. And so let's test landing pages. Let's test offers. So that's when I was like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board. I've learned over the last 6 years running ads for clients. Let's actually do what we know. And that's where we were able to kind of get that CAC back down from 100 down to like 50 and 40. And it's definitely not what it was. And I think I speak for everybody where it's like, it's not the golden days anymore, but
Yeah.
you have to do with what you have, right?
Yeah, this probably happened to thousands of brands, like hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
brands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just ripping, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm an ad buyer. I'm amazing," and next thing you know, it's like, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
There's so many variables you have to care about now.
But honestly, good for you though, because I feel like a lot of brands at that point are just like, "Well, just done.
Throwing
We're
the
done.
towel.
Throwing the towel. And you're just like, I'm sure there's points where like, yeah, like we're done.
Dude, I mean, there were times like we had offers on the table to sell. Yeah. And we're like, no, like, let's keep going. Like, this thing is a
so much
monster.
bigger.
And so, like, at the time, I don't, like, even hindsight, like, I don't know if we would take that offer or whatever it is, but, like, in that moment where you're like, okay, I don't know what to do, you're like, I should have taken that offer.
Yeah.
But the answer was very simple. And it's I wish I was doing this, like, 3 years ago, which is like testing more creative, the landing pages. And
more like
that.
internal question you gotta answer if you don't want to. So you've never had an ad like that since then, pretty much.
No,
not even close. And that's pretty much just one ad that just worked. Funnel, ad, everything.
So I think the influencer was bigger than the brand. So her influence was out of control.
It's massive.
Yeah. So like we could have put out, we could have been selling rocks, and she would have said like, "This is the best fucking rock I've ever seen. Go buy it." Like her audience would buy it.
Yeah.
And so like for me, when I'm like, oh yeah, I could have tested landing pages and this and that, I literally could have told that person to be like, yeah, send me a check in the mail and I'll send you a product. They probably would have done it.
Damn.
Like that's how it was. So me doing all these optimizations like didn't even matter at the time, right? But now when I have to rely on the brand to sell itself, that's when you have to start doing the optimizations and hey, like interrupt somebody's day on Facebook and be like, hey, check us out and buy us.
Literally.
So that's where you have to be like the direct response thinking and things like that. And we tried to like find another influencer like that. It's very tough because influencers nowadays, you're basically paying them for a little bit of reach, but their content, right? She was like the unicorn.
She was a lot of reach and really good content.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like. We did shit with Jamie Lynn Spears. We did shit with some of the Real Housewives. They didn't have the same influence that this lady had, which is crazy.
Yeah. You talk about direct response too. People who don't know what that is, look it up. Very important.
Yeah.
Where can people like learn more about direct response? I feel like a lot of the D2C world is like more branding and visual and nice aesthetic.
Yeah.
When direct response is really what's driving like the growth, the sales, and everything.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you learn your stuff?
Yeah, I think that's where it's like, all right, how do I get somebody to convert on day one? Right, that's my goal. Right, this is more or less an impulse buy. Right, it's not like $100. There's not a lot of education to it. Right, people know what collagen is. Hey, you either want a flavored collagen or you don't. Right, so how can I make that experience the best experience possible? How can I show you, or how can I acquire an audience that is already in market for this product? How can I show them why we're better than every other competitor out there? And how can I give them an offer they can't refuse so that they buy right there and then, right? So a lot of that comes from the creative. How am I targeting the right person, right? So before, Facebook knew who your potential customer was, right? Say, for example, you go to vitalproteins.com, right? They have a Facebook pixel on their website. Facebook knows that you're in the market for collagen. You then go to Dr. Axe, right? Again, Facebook knows you're into collagen. All right, Obvi's running an ad for collagen. Let's show this person a collagen ad.
See if they buy that
and
one.
see if they buy it. Okay, cool. They saw the other two. They're seeing Obvi now. That's why when you go to like a website, then you start seeing all their competitors. That's what was happening, right? Facebook knew exactly what you were up to, and it made it easy for us to target in-market customers.
And then you're competing with like
just
the other product, which like if you're a better product, looks nicer, more appealing.
That's all you had to be. You just had to have a better offer, better value props, whatever it was. Us, we were better flavored, and we gave you a free shaker and 20% off, right?
Yeah.
And it's bright pink.
And it's bright pink, right? It looks good. So that's all you had to do. Now I have to use my creative to find the right audience and make sure I'm speaking to the right person, because Facebook doesn't know who's really in market or not. Okay. Half of the data is missing because of Apple. And so it is getting better, but it's not as good as what it used to be. So what you have to do is you have to create creative that, whether it's a static image, right? There's a nice headline on it that can attract the right person, right? So for collagen, it's like, say goodbye to hair loss. Okay. That gets me somebody who's somewhat interested and has that problem of hair loss. And I now have a solution for them. Okay. But were they looking for collagen? Maybe not, which is why I think conversion rates are a little bit lower and CACs are up, okay? Because you're not really hitting the exact person at the right moment
Interesting.
when they want something, right? The first 3 seconds of a video, like, hey, have you been looking for a new collagen, this and that? Like, that's how you can really pull out the right person and get the right targeted audience to your website. So creative is so important so that you can target the right person at the right time. Okay.
Yeah, creative is essentially your targeting mechanism.
It's your targeting. Yeah. Now you have to work on your landing page. Okay. They're now here because you brought them in on a promise to help their hair loss issues. Okay. Here's the thing that I didn't think about is, one, there's so many solutions for hair loss out there. Minoxidil, Hims,
Hims,
Nutrafol, oil, rosemary oil, like different pills or like whatever it is, foods, you know? So collagen is a solution to hair loss against so many other categories. Jeez. I'm not just competing against other collagen companies. I'm competing against other fucking categories, right? Yeah. So now I have to explain to this user who may or may not know what collagen is, why it's important. Then I have to explain to them why we're better than other collagens, and then try and sell them there.
Damn, so you gotta go like, collagen's this. Congratulations, now you know collagen. Yeah. It's better than minoxidil because of this. Yeah. We're actually better than Hims because of this.
How do you do all that?
How do you do all that?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
You know, so you either, so there's two things you do here is you either sell on social or you sell on your landing page. So that ad, like you just said, is that in itself is an angle, right? How can we, instead of going super broad of like, say goodbye to hair loss, it's like, hey, fuck minoxidil, take Obvi. And here's the reasons why. All right. Now you understand why collagen is better than minoxidil, which is probably what maybe you were in the market for or what you're currently using. And you're offering an alternative solution.
Also, if you resonated with that video and you came to the landing page, like you already know, like, okay, I know why I'm here.
It's like congruency.
Yes. Yeah. You got to have the congruency. You know, now that landing page, that experience should be a whole page about 5 reasons why Obvi collagen is better than minoxidil. You know what I mean?
Have you guys tried this yet?
No, but I probably will now. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's what a lot of like, I think that's why you see a lot of comparison ads nowadays where like Liquid IV versus somebody else or Athletic Greens versus somebody else, right? These are like the behemoths in their own categories. So they have a lot of brand equity. So if I can say like, oh, my solution is better than Vital Proteins and everybody knows Vital Proteins, it's easier for me to sell my collagen because hey, I'm hitting the users who either use it on a daily basis or are about to try it and be like, hey, hold on. Well, we have more vitamins and nutrients in our formula and we have flavors and all the 1-star reviews on Vital Protein say like, this tastes like shit. Well, hey, why don't you grab something that actually tastes good, right? So that's the approaches that you have to take in making sure you're hitting the right audience, getting them to the landing page. Now it's talking to that specific person and making sure that it resonates and there is that congruency like you said.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you hit them with that beautiful offer of, you know, get whatever, free gifts, this and that, free shipping, you know, throw the whole.
And you guys gamify a lot of stuff too, right? Like, because like you need all like the 1-click upsells, like the post-purchase, the pre-purchase, the everything. You guys do all of that, right?
Everything, man.
Do you guys have like a rewards program internally?
Rewards program, yeah. I mean, that crushes for the customers. You know, anytime like if we fuck up on like shipping, like, hey, we'll toss you 100 points. Right.
That's so smart.
Oh, interesting.
Dude, so, like, nobody does that.
I didn't even hear about that. What do you guys use for that? What app?
So we're using reviews.io. They just launched their loyalty program. So we moved over our reviews and our loyalty program. Our customers love if you spend $100, you get 100 points. That 100 points is $5.
That's so smart.
Right?
Like nobody does that too. Like
that's like cash back.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, it is. And they absolutely love it because this rewards program is everywhere, right? You go to Panera, you go to Dunkin', you go to Starbucks, you collect your points. And so people know how to use it, right?
Interesting.
So like when you're going through checkout, we have like a slider. So it's like, here's your bank of points. You have 500 points. Move the slider. It's like, oh, well, you have $50. You can go redeem it, right? So like I said, there's so many use cases for it where if, say, you know, somebody's order is delayed, drop them 100 points.
As opposed to saying like, here's a partial refund or here's a new order. That's so smart.
Probably saves you a lot of money.
Yeah,
I'll give you 200 points. Fuck it.
Because that's so much retention right there.
That's $10 that you can go.
Come back and spend the $10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh shit, that's a hack
and it's a way better way to position it than like store credit because nobody really likes the idea of store credit, but when you're like rewards points, they're like, oh, this is cool.
How'd you guys even think of that? Does anyone else do it too?
I haven't seen
there
anybody
are.
do it.
Not a lot,
Yeah,
though.
maybe.
Not
yeah.
a lot.
I think we try to, because we have a high participation rate on our rewards program, we think of a lot of ways that we can tie that into a lot of marketing efforts, right? So even if you go and shop at Vitamin Shop, if you save your receipt and submit it online, we'll give you 3x the points
Jeez.
to now shop back at online.
You should do that at
That's
Walmart. You should do
so
this stuff at
smart.
Walmart too. When you guys
You're
go to
going to.
Walmart,
You have
you're
to.
probably going to. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
How do you do that with retail though? Like it has to be. Does it have to be you're marketing them online
Are
and
people
saying
really
if you
sending
bought
the
here?
receipts?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we have people reviewing it. So like customer service is reviewing it. Like some people will try and upload some random bullshit.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they didn't even buy Obvi. It's like, no, like
Just to get points,
Yeah,
yeah.
just to get points, right? But there's a manual
Yeah,
review
give them the
process.
points. They'll still buy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could. Like, fuck it. One thing that we're doing is, and this is a hack, right? This is one of, I'm giving some sauce, but like
Yeah.
we have a restock coming on Friday for a flavor that sold out a while ago, but we're bringing back. We're dropping in 100 points in everybody's account and then saying, hey, this is back in stock. Go shop.
Like, and they don't know about it right now, or
No.
oh
So
my god,
that morning, it's like, hey, surprise, the flavor you've been asking for is back.
Wow.
By the way, we added 100 points to your account.
That's
Go shop.
oh
stupid.
man, as opposed to saying like get 10% off because
yeah.
that's so like boring.
Yep.
Wow.
Wait, and what are you using reviews? What reviews are you using?
Reviews.io.
Reviews.io does all this
Yep.
with the points and everything.
Yeah.
We're coming after you.
We're coming after you for the sponsor. Jesus.
That's good.
They
That's
better
good
run a
stuff.
whole ad with you saying this stuff right here. Like, you know how Ron's popping up with like post pilot and everywhere? Like you, oh my God.
Yeah, man.
No, those guys are great, man. If you're looking for a new review platform,
Yeah,
hit up Callum on Twitter. They like, our reviews look amazing now on the website. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can overlay something, but like the
Yeah,
before and after is fucking beautiful, and the loyalty is great. It's simple. You don't need all this like referral bullshit. Like get 15, give 15. Like that shit doesn't work. I don't think I don't remember the last time I've ever done that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, like, hey buddy, like, what's your email? Let me send you this. Like, nah, fuck that.
No one cares.
Yeah, nobody
Everyone
cares.
thinks
Points.
it's
The points is
intrusive now.
interesting.
The points.
Yeah.
It's like a Starbucks. Like a Starbucks is kind of like similar
Yeah,
stuff for
yeah.
the points. Oh my
Panera,
gosh,
yeah.
no one does that.
Yeah.
And like there's like thousands and thousands of people that do this stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we've been testing is cashback. So we use this app called Fondue. So instead of doing the discounts, so you have your welcome pop up right on the homepage. We used to do give us your email, we'll give you a surprise discount. Okay, so this increased like the opt-ins by crazy because people want to know what that
Yeah.
surprise or special discount is. And then then we tested get 20% cash back. Okay, so that outperformed the surprise discount because it's a higher value. And what ends up happening is that we go through checkout. You don't use a discount code. You say that you're going to get 20% cash back. Okay, so say there's a $100 order. Instead of a 20% discount, which now discounts the order to $80, that customer is paying the full 100. Okay. Then on the back end, they get an email saying, "Hey, you have cash back waiting. How do you want to claim it?" Okay, so you can either claim it as like a Visa gift card, or you can claim it as store credit to Obvi, and that too. I'll give a little bit of a bonus to get the store credit. So if you're getting $20 back, can I give you $5 extra
25.
and take the store credit?
Jeez.
Here's what actually fucking happens. 50% of the people that do cashback do absolutely nothing. So it's just cash. Okay. Then 30% of the people actually take store credit and 20% take a Visa gift card. So now I've just limited my exposure to discounts right off the bat to 20%.
Oh wow.
So when you say the 50% do nothing, does it mean they don't like reach out to redeem it, or
oh,
They don't do
you
anything.
send it to them and they don't even use it,
They don't even use it.
wow?
They don't even touch it.
but they think that I just saved $20.
Yeah, but they never actually do.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean that's why like when you send emails, you say like, "Hey, here's a discount code you can use," because like half the time they don't even use it.
Yeah. They just
They just get drawn in from the idea that they're gonna get a discount.
yeah. It's just a reminder to buy at the shop that you need to buy
Yeah,
at.
That's
you know?
crazy.
So Fondue, I think that's what we've been trying to like implement a lot of these cashback opportunities where it's no cost to us. The only cost to us is maybe the Visa gift card, but 20% that actually opt into that is way less than if we were to offer 20% discount right off the bat. That cash is gone, right?
Yeah.
So
One thing I just want to preface for people listening to this stuff, tell me if I'm wrong, only works though when you're at a certain point as a business. like when you're just starting up, don't waste your time doing all these things.
So you gotta have a foundation.
What do you think about that?
I think rewards program. Yeah, I agree. I think you need to have that customer base. I think there's a lot of things that you can do before, right? Like build a community, right? We have almost 70,000 members in this Facebook community. We started that when we had our first 1,000 customers. Build that. Build the community. Build a brand that people actually want to use rewards points on. Just because you have it doesn't mean that they're going to use it, right? Be a brand that people want to shop again from. A reason being, hey, I'm trusting you with my like most sacred problem of like, hey, like I don't feel good about myself. I don't look great. Yeah. Can you sell me a product that helps me do that? Okay, cool. We have a community for you that you can find other people in the same boat as you and kind of voice off each other and be like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, how are you getting through this?
Recipes,
this and that, right? And then that's when you build that affinity to the brand. And then you can start implementing all these like loyalty programs and retention drivers because like, hey, they actually want to shop with you again. The cashback stuff is really great for acquisition and margins. That I would implement right off the bat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I only say that because like some people don't even have any traffic coming to their goddamn website.
Yeah.
And
that's the first problem.
They spend a whole month trying to figure out this whole review app. It's like, don't spend a month.
Stop worrying about that.
Stop worrying about that stuff. Get traffic, get conversions, get sales, be profitable on Facebook, break even. Yeah. And then all these things start helping. Like, for example, if you say it helps conversion, okay, boom, they'll help you lower your CAC at that point. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
To your point, dude, like for the brands that are also just starting, like stop worrying about like, oh, is this ad like perfect? Is this video polished enough?
That's the worst.
You know what I mean? Like I just ran a test. We had a UGC creator that we're testing out. They made it really cool. Like I said, like a TikTok style video, which is everywhere now. And like, I hate it and I want to stop using it, but
it works.
It works for now. Yeah. And then I had one of our customer service girls take a bottle of the Obvi collagen, put it on her dining table, get a sticky note, and wrote, "Satisfies my sweet tooth. My hair is growing like crazy," and like a checkbox on each one.
And that was better.
And that was 10 times better.
Wow.
Like it's the most lo-fi static image I've ever seen. But like people love, like that's what people are like attracted to.
People like zooming in, be like, "What the hell?
What does that say?" Yeah. These flavors look cool. Like it was the most stupidest looking ad ever, and it's like performing like crazy.
That's crazy. So I'm sure Kyle sees the same stuff with drop shipping. It's like, dude, like this crappiest stuff converts.
Yeah.
Have you seen this fucking the pot like that these drop shippers are like shilling? It's like this pot where you can like cook in. It's like a small like it heats itself up, and so the content that they're doing is like you can make food in your bed. And so like they made fries.
That's a solid product.
They made steak. Like it's just small little thing.
And you don't plug it in.
You don't plug it in. I think it's like battery powered or whatever it is. And the video concept or the ad is like they're watching Netflix in bed and they're making a fucking filet mignon in this thing.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
Not as much as you probably have, but I think I have.
Yeah. It's like going crazy.
It's ripping.
But like it's the most lo-fi shit ever.
Yeah.
You don't need amazing content.
Yeah, it's like it's like the cloud slides. Like those have done.
Oh yeah, have you
at
seen
this
the
point
slides?
Probably hundreds of millions of dollars.
Like the flip flops with like the
just like cushiony,
shark flip flops.
Yeah. Well, those are the shark ones. There's also just cloud slides. They're literally just like these $8 things you can get for $20 on Amazon that people are selling for $40. We met a kid who was doing like $500K a month selling these, and it's such a generic product, but it's like the content's easier. Just like, oh, it feels like I'm walking on a cloud.
That's it.
You know.
That's it.
But it's such a basic product.
All you
but
need
he branded it really well.
Your phone and the product, and go to town on it.
Dude, remember the Raven lamp used to run?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Like, tell about that.
So I literally
was crazy.
So I don't know. I think I found this from another store that was selling it, but this. I mean, I still drop ship a little bit, but I'm trying to transition a little bit more to brands. But this was definitely back in my like prime drop shipping days. Yeah. I saw this product and I was like, "That's sick." Yeah. And so I took it. And I looked into what they were doing, and it was a crow that was a lamp that you like drill into your wall, or you could put on your nightstand. Okay. And I was like, and I had sold home decor products successfully in the past, up to like $500,000 a month. And I was like, I could sell this. I could figure it out. So I basically rebranded it as a Raven lamp, not a crow lamp. And my whole marketing angle was going after like people interested in poetry and reading. because like Raven and like Edgar Allan Poe's poem, whatever that was.
Right.
People don't think about these angles.
Right.
I got locked in on that customer avatar. I ripped this thing to like $500,000 a month because I changed the name and I went after a specific avatar.
It was a basic image ad.
Dude, literally my marketing was like, there was like a bookshelf and like a comfortable chair that it was like a reader's nook.
Yeah.
And then like that thing just kind of hanging from the side.
Yeah.
And then another one was just like a still image that I took with like a photographer, but it was all like really just kind of scrappy stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a point where that was just ripping. I think I was selling it for like $90 and I was getting like $20 CPAs on it. And my costs were like $25-$30. Problem was it was like ceramic. So the only reason why that didn't, I wanted to add more and more ceramic. I sold like a monkey lamp. I sold like these lamps that were like, the monkey lamp was sick. There was like a golden
like
one.
the Jungle Book fucking
There
audience.
was like mice lamp. I don't know why, but people were buying them. And but then like eventually they were all like ceramic.
Yeah.
So there's just such a high damage rate
Yeah,
because
that
you're
makes
shipping
sense.
it from China. And even if I got inventory, there are going to be damages in that
the
too.
way,
So
yeah.
like, but otherwise I was fully determined to just keep adding these ceramic lights of animal lamps and was just going to take that to millions a month.
Yeah. Like
Didn't get
the
there.
ad could be anything.
Yeah, it's and that's where it's like you forget that there's another person on the other side of the phone, right? They're not on Facebook to buy shit. They're literally there to like pass their time, entertainment, news, whatever, education. Can you like fit in and like show something that's like organic looking and it's like, oh, it looks like a friend posted it, right? So like this example that I said where put the bottle and the sticky note, I created a page for her. So it's literally from her name with her picture.
Dude, the pages is the hack.
Yeah.
The pages
So it's
are
not
the
coming
hack.
from the brand. It looks like somebody's daughter posted this on your feed. And again, we're hitting these 35, 45-year-old women. They're like, oh, somebody just posted about this. Let me check it out.
Especially the middle-aged women.
Yeah.
It just says sponsored. Don't even
Yeah,
see
you
it.
barely see it.
Wow.
Like they can barely, like they have to get their glasses out and zoom in. Like they're not seeing
Because
that
the
shit.
younger market is more kind of like consumer aware of like what it is they're getting, whereas like the older people, they're kind of just like they're like, you tell them like what drop shipping is, they're like, what's drop shipping? I've never heard of it. You talk to an 18-year-old, I don't think there's a single 18-year-old on the planet that doesn't know what drop shipping is these days. Like
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Have you guys ever tried like bought like the site like welovecollagen.com?
Yeah, we
and,
have
like top 10 collagen and you just make Avi #1. Have you guys tried that?
We have collagentoday.com.
Okay.
like advertorials.
Yeah,
Kind of.
advertorials. It does well. I think it takes a lot of management because like the articles and this and that.
Yeah.
I think we're testing a lot more of it, like the editorial style. I think we're getting to this point where the UGC style content is gonna stop working because everybody will know it's an ad, right? Like if you scroll through TikTok creators aren't even making that type of content anymore.
Seriously, yeah.
Right? Because before they were. Before it was like the text overlays, like POV, you've been doing this, whatever. Like their creators aren't making that anymore, right? So that's why that style worked as long as it did. But now I guess people are absorbing different types of content now. And how can you put out this I think is a hack, is if whatever content creator that you follow, see what they put out that goes viral. And what are the elements that you could include in your ad and think of it that way, right? How can you make something that obviously doesn't look like an ad? And I think people have been preaching this for a while, but that was the whole point of this UGC style because it didn't look like an ad.
But now
it
people
looks
know
like
it's an ad. Yeah.
So you
People
gotta
know it's an ad.
change it up.
So that's why you got to go back to this like lo-fi shit, sticky note on the thing, you know,
Yeah,
like
funny story. That Raven lamp, the best ad was one that I just like straight up stock supplier image, you know, and that's just
saying.
and
You go to Alibaba, get the image,
like, dude,
and rip it up.
even to this day though, with the brands that we work with, we find that with most of them, I would say, unless the product really needs to be explained in a video, if there's any way it can be explained in an image, we see like much lower CPMs. It might not convert as well, but like if you're getting a $30 CPM with a video that has a 1% conversion rate, and you're getting a $20 CPM, or you're getting a $10 CPM with an image, but like half as good of a conversion rate, like the image is going to outperform because it just has that much lower of a CPM.
yeah, I agree. I think one thing here is I don't know. What's your point? Like, what's your take on this? Like, for me, CPMs, like, I can't control CPMs.
Yeah.
Right?
It sucks.
Like, it is what it is. So, like, I almost don't even care what's happening, right? Like, if, for example, we're coming up to, like, Mother's Day and, like, people are ripping Mother's Day ads, like, CPMs are going to go up. I can't fucking do anything about it.
Yeah.
Either I roll with the punches or I turn off my ads. Like, deal with it, right? So, like, when I'm now testing between, like, videos and, like, statics, it's how can I make sure that my click-through rate is as high as it possibly
Explain to
can.
people what click-through rate means too.
So click-through rate is it's a function of how many people click on an ad versus impressions, right? So how many clicks are you getting per every 1,000 impressions? That would be your click-through rate. So if I can get something and say like my benchmark is say 1%, okay? If anything above that, I know that it's an engaging ad and I'm hitting the right audience. Anything below that, then I might not be doing that, right? So like for me, that's the only thing I can control. Again, there's no correlation between CTR, CPC, and conversion rate. There really isn't. Yeah. But you'll have an easier time scaling your ad account if those metrics are dialed in. So that's my take on it. Like CPMs for me, it's like I really can't control shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think one thing that I learned with, because I mean with CPMs, it's like you can look at a great click-through rate and say, oh, I'm getting a 5 click-through rate. But if you're getting $150 CPM, it matters. And there are things in your control that you can do to change that a little bit, but not as much as people think, right? People are like, oh, just run a new creative. But like a new creative, if you're getting 150 CPM, might get you down to like 100 or 120. It's not going to get you down to like where you want to be, like a 30 or 40. Yeah. One thing that I learned from Justin Kemperman, founder of Javi, is like in terms of custom metrics was cost per click, revenue per click, and then profit per click. Mm-hmm. So like, or like earnings per click, however those metrics, it's different from like a return on ad spend when you're looking at it. Those metrics kind of eliminate all the other shit that doesn't really matter. Yeah. It's just like, what's my CPC? Mm-hmm. What's my CPC? What's my revenue per click? And then I even have a custom metric of profit per click, which is kind of harder to calculate depending on how many SKUs you have. Yeah. But like, is my revenue per click higher or lower than my profit per click, or like whatever the numbers have to entail in order for it to make sense. Right. And that just eliminates all of the emotion that goes into CTR or CPM. It's like none of that matters. It's like either you look at your ROAS or you look at your profit per click. Yeah.
I fully agree. I think even for us, the way that we look at it is new customer return on ad spend, right? So I know that my break-even point is 1.5. Right. So anything above that, I'm fucking happy with on the day. Right. I'm not even looking at my ad account. I'm looking at this one number that's in my triple whale dashboard. Yeah. And it's like
your blended.
My blended. Yeah. Am I above 1.5? Great. If not, where the fuck is the issue? Yeah. And that's how I kind of handle my business. And like, once you get to that point, it's like, you're just going to stress yourself out thinking like, oh, like this ad, like say you have a campaign and an ad set with 4 different ads in it. The one ad is getting all the spend, or majority of the spend, but it has a really shit CPA, okay? And all the other ads have like really good CPAs, really good conversion rates. But does your blended look great? Great. Now, a lot of people might go back and look at that ad and be like, oh, well, this has all my spend, but has a really shit CPA. Let me turn that off because all the other 3 have really good CPAs. That was not the one driving the conversions. You know what I mean? Because retargeting is happening all the time. That one ad is probably driving the awareness, and the other 3 are probably converting the second or third touch point. Yeah. And people don't think of that, right? So stop looking at the in-platform metrics. Like, stop trying to like, if your day is good on your blended, great, keep it going. Don't fucking touch a shit, right? If something's going wrong and you're not hitting your KPIs, all right, maybe that ad is causing a little bit of an issue, but can I replace that with something better? That's the next step, not like turn it off. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Dude, Ash with the fucking sauce today.
Yeah. Man, I was just gonna say something. I'm forgetting it. So let's see. Oh, okay. So for us, obviously we're working with multiple brands. You know, smaller than you guys, but we're trying to get them there. Right. And a big thing that we've been torn on is the percentage of budget.
What's up, New Money Talks fam? Did you know that over 35% of American households carry some form of credit card debt? And over 60% of those households live paycheck to paycheck? Well, if either of those 2 statistics apply to you, James Zhang and his team over at Limitless Financial Solutions have a solution for you. Now, James offers a variety of services such as his semi-passive Facebook automation stores, such as his credit funding services, and his credit repair services. So whether you're looking to get your credit right, start a new business, escape your 9 to 5 or the rat race and build a semi-passive income stream using the powerful vehicle of e-commerce, I would highly suggest clicking the link in the description below, talking to one of James's team members to see how they can help you. So if you are interested in working with James and his team over at Limitless Financial Solutions, make sure that you click the link down below and make sure to tell them that New Money Talks sent you so you can get that New Money Talks discount. Now let's get back to the podcast. I'm trying to get back into it.
I know.
Okay,
I remember.
just go.
Yeah, I can just go.
So retargeting, right? So most of the top of funnel traffic now is naturally hitting more and more of your like bottom of funnel audience unintentionally. That's just how Facebook allocates budget. So are you doing more exclusions on the top of funnel, or are you allocating maybe less budget on bottom of funnel, or maybe more? I don't know.
Yeah. So I haven't run retargeting in the sense of like trying to do sequential targeting, right? I haven't separated it out since the update. I think that's just because what ended up happening was 50% of your visitors or whatever it was. 50% of your visitors are basically not being captured in these audiences, right? So there's going to be overlap anyways. So let's just consolidate and boost the signals back to Facebook. And that was something I think everybody moved towards, a more consolidated structure, right? Now I think things are getting a little bit better, but these guys have released ASC campaigns, right? Advantage shopping plus campaigns, or advantage shopping campaigns plus whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
That is something that heavily blends your top of funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. So what I am doing now is I'm trying to move a lot of my budget towards that so that I will let this campaign figure it out. Okay.
Yeah.
It becomes this full funnel approach of, all right, this ad is really good at attracting a top of the funnel audience. This ad is really good at attracting middle of the funnel, and so on and so on. Right. So the theory here is that I can make ads that I should be making ads that work for top of the funnel. They're definitely going to work for middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, right? Somebody that's already seen your brand before, they already have an idea of what it is. It's okay if it's like trying to sell them from the beginning, right? Because at this point, it's like more of a reminder to them, like, oh, you exist, and let me get to your website, right? So the only thing that I'm running retargeting in the sense of retargeting is post-purchase. So I'm running deals that cycle through the customer base. So like, hey, like if you haven't bought in 45 days, here's an offer, or cross-selling or whatever it is. Retargeting in the sense of we have our Facebook group, so I have an ad that's just hitting people.
Oh, just the Facebook group.
Just the Facebook
It's that
group.
big of an audience that you can do that.
No, sorry. So I'm creating the audience, the retargeting audience, so it's like visitors, and showing them an ad for the Facebook group.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sending people who are like, oh, like
That's smart.
yeah. So I'm growing the group that way, but to have the separate campaign would only work if you use the heavy exclusions at the top of the funnel and you're really trying to funnel it out. But what I've found is that too many exclusions at top of the funnel can hurt performance. So it's like this catch-22 of, yeah, you might get better CPAs at your bottom of the funnel, but then your top of the funnel suffers. And you're kind of in the same position. And I've recently tested this out, right? So like I'm not just talking out of my ass. I've seen it where in platform Facebook says retargeting does really, really fucking well. But like, using triple or whatever it is, the incrementality isn't that much better. So what ends up happening is that you're just spreading out your conversions from these different campaigns. Let me just collect all the data in one campaign and let Facebook just be that much better. You know what I mean?
Damn. So back to the creative again. It's just like literally all creative, everything. Like even your targeting on the funnel is the creative, because like depending on what part of the funnel you're at, you're literally just making a different video or image, etc.
Yeah.
Damn. Which is like very different than what it used to be, type of thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think people need to just see ads 4 or 5 times before they, make a purchase. And so like, it doesn't matter what it really is. It's like, it's just a constant reminder, right? Which is why you want people's emails when they sign up. You want their numbers. You want them to download your app or hit your community, because then they can start seeing you everywhere they go. And so how many times can I send an email, right? A welcome flow, send out one every day, but it gives somebody that reminder like, hey, you were interested in this brand, buy when you're ready. So that's how I think about it. And I think if we're all moving towards this like ASC and let Facebook figure itself out, makes our jobs like easier, so I can focus on the creative offer landing pages.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you guys have a lot of in-house like landing page guys and stuff like that, or do you do all that yourself? You hire out? What do you do?
A little bit of both. So Ankit, will
for
design
sure.
something out. Not like regularly because this guy's like pumping out other shit.
Yeah.
But then I'll have we have another designer. Her name is Lizzie. She's great. So she's a contractor. So she works with a ton of other brands. So she also has ideas of what's working, what's not working. So I'll say like, hey, we want to test a new landing page. Or if I see like, oh, there's a brand that's doing really well. I really like their landing page. Can we make something similar for us? So she'll go and design it out. And then we have a dev in-house. So he'll code it out and we'll start testing. And then I'll fuck around on like Replo and like Shogun and put something together. If I see something,
Yeah,
I want to make it like right away so I can test it, I'll just go and do that. Right.
100%. Yeah, Shogun's fire.
Yeah.
Shogun's pretty good for all that
Everything,
type of
like
stuff.
Replo, I think like is really solid because now they have like templates for a bunch of like different brands. Like Javi's like listicles are
it's all
a
there?
template for Replo. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Justin made that up.
Yeah,
literally
and
made
there's
that
a reason
up.
it's there because it fucking crushes. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
all you do is you've imported this template and you just change out the text, the images, but you know that the structure works. You know, so if you can easily do that, you can rip like 4 or 5 landing pages just doing that, and you just test that.
100%. Dude, this is like value
Yeah.
out the butt.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to when you were talking about how you had multiple offers for the company at different points throughout the years. I guess the reason for turning those down, was it more like, hey, I know this thing is going to be bigger and I know that the exit value that I'm going to be able to get down the line is bigger? Or was it like more of like, I actually love building this and I can't see my life without it?
Yeah, I think when you're on this like rocket ship, you're like, this could be so much bigger, right? There's a number I think that we all have in our head, and we didn't hit it yet, right? So internally, you have the goals that you want to hit.
Do you guys say that number out loud ever?
I mean, I think
No, I'm not saying to the camp. I'm saying like to each other. Like
Oh,
you,
yeah,
Ron,
yeah,
Ankit,
yeah,
you guys know
100%.
what you guys
we
want.
we know what we want, right? And so it's like, how do we get there, right? And when we were on this like massive rocket ship, it's like, yeah, we're on track to hit that. So why are we taking these like offers, right? I think now it's like, okay, because growth is now not triple digits, it's 10, 20, like it's
Like
more
a real
realistic.
company.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a real
it's more
company.
realistic. It's like, how do you now get to that number? And it's a little bit more work, right? It's how do you succeed in retail? How do you innovate products? How do you make sure that your customer base isn't getting hit with the same products all the time, right? Like, I'm sure customers are tired of like the flavors we have, right?
100%.
Which is why we're transitioning to more like the water-based flavors, so that you don't have to have the collagen with coffee and milk every morning, right? Some people, like, they go to work, they're not just carrying milk with them, you know what I mean? Like, and some people don't drink coffee, right?
Yeah.
But they have water every day, so let's make flavors for water, right? So those are the things that you now have to, now that we've returned to this like steady pace, how can we hit the number that we're trying to get to? And I think a lot of it is going to come from like innovation, standing out from the rest of the categories, and retail.
And you don't think what happened in say 2020 will happen again? Where like you could duplicate a budget from 10 to 20K and it just rips.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Like, I think we're actually returning back to where we were pre-COVID, like just on a growth basis, right? Like eCom was catapulted during COVID, right? And it wasn't supposed to be the case, right? Obviously, it hit that because nobody can go shopping in store, this and that. People still shop in stores.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
it's not like people love the buy now, pick up later type shit, right? Like Walmart, you order on your phone, they'll bring it out to your car. Like, that's sick. If you want something, you can get it right there and then.
Yeah,
Amazon's fast. Don't get me wrong, right? 2-day Prime shipping is amazing, but if you need something right away, like,
just
you're
drive
just
to the
gonna go to
store.
the store, right? So I think when it comes to like the products that are very commodity driven, right? That you can go to a Vitamin Shop and pick up, you can go to a Walmart and pick up, like, that is where the growth online is going to be kind of like steady. But the products that you can't buy in stores and are different enough for you to order online, those are the brands that are going to crush.
For sure.
unfortunately, I don't know if we're in that right category right now. Like supplements you can buy anywhere, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's like, all right, can we maintain a steady, revenue on D2C and blow up retail at the
Blow
same
up retail,
time?
stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And are you guys ever looking at yourself like where do we stand in the collagen world?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys ever like, it's like, oh, like what's the blue one? Like the blue one's the biggest
Vital
one, right?
proteins, yeah.
No offense. Like,
Yeah,
He
no,
doesn't want to say it too loud.
yeah.
Oh, but like you guys are like, oh, there's like these 3 bigger players in the space, and we're like
Yeah.
going for their next type of thing, or is everyone just like, yeah,
I think there's a market for us in the overall grand scheme of things. I think the way that collagen has been presented to the consumer is that it is typically unflavored. So the mentality there is there, right? If you don't really hear about people taking unflavored whey protein.
That
It's
makes
all
sense.
it's all
Never.
chocolate
Chocolate, vanilla.
you know what I mean? And
It's
like
gross.
that's just and like that's what's just been presented to the market, and that's what you assume is the norm, right? Vital proteins went the unflavored route, and so everybody thinks that you have to have an unflavored collagen. But it tastes like shit, right? You can't put it in water. If you put it in coffee, it changes the taste a little bit. So why not have something that actually tastes decent that you would want to take every day and not have to add 100 different things to make it taste good, right?
Yeah.
Like with Vital, you got to put it in your smoothie. You got to cut up the apples, do this, juice the thing, blah, 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 and it tastes good, right? Like for us, it's like, all right, milk, scoop, done, right? So I think there is a market for us. I don't think we'll ever, at least like in the immediate future, like overtake Vital Protein. Like that's just not gonna happen. I would love to be acquired by a brand like that. Like that's probably the goal. But if I could take a little bit of market share and like sit on the shelf at Walmart for
Right
years
next
to
to
come,
them.
that's all. I'm
all
happy.
you-
Yeah.
Like we made it.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like that's the
Love
goal.
it.
Yeah.
I'm done with my questions.
Yeah,
You got anything else?
my last question, we'll wrap it up. I think about this a lot, especially with some of the smaller brands we take on that we probably shouldn't take on, because at least at my agency, because they don't really have the qualities that we look for to have a high level of certainty that we can perform it for them. Right. For example, like if they come to us, they're spending less than $3K a month, they're making less than $10K a month. They had a couple good TikTok videos blow up, whatever. We come, to a crossroad where we've, exhausted a lot of creatives. We've tried a lot of different strategies. We've tried multiple platforms. And I think a lot of brands go through this. Way more brands go through this than have the aha moment and scale to $1 million a month. Like at what point, we were kind of talking about it before, but at one point do you kind of throw in the towel and say we have to completely do a 180, try new products, do a different brand, etc., versus knowing that you can kind of force the product to work, if that makes sense? Because I think a lot of people think that like, almost any product with the right marketing, with the right creatives, with the right offer, you can kind of like force it to work no matter what it is, because like if it exists, people are buying it. It was created for a reason. But like I personally don't think that's the case. I think there's instances where brands hit that road and they keep trying to force it, but they're just burning cash, and they have to just know when to just throw in the towel and pivot, go to a different market, whatever it might be. And that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah. I think we're going through it, right? So for example, our collagen protein, it's the same formula since we launched in 2019, right? That's 4 years. There's so many things that have changed over time, right? A lot of brands are moving towards like all natural, no like artificial sweeteners, things like that. Consumers are more health conscious about these things. And just in the collagen space alone, there's so many brands out there that are selling collagen, but with a twist to it, right? Collagen that helps with weight loss, collagen that helps with cellulite, collagen that helps with this or that, sleep, whatever it is, right? If you're just a standard basic ass collagen, you're not going to make it, right? That's where I think we've started to see, okay, we need to pivot as the times change. Because if you don't, you're trying to force it, right? And yeah, you can spend $200 to acquire a customer and maybe break even 6-12 months down the line. Is that great for your business? Fuck no, right? So can you create a better product? Can you put your ego aside and say, hey, like this is a product that we've launched with, it's sold millions of servings, but now it's time for it to change? That is the call that you have to make, and that's the call like the founders of the brand have to make. And you don't, if it happens too late, it can crush you, right?
Yeah.
Because you're burning cash on trying to acquire these customers. They don't end up coming back because that's not what they want anymore. That's not what the market wants anymore.
You're forcing it.
You're forcing it, right? So if you start to see these like KPIs decline, like retention rate is kind of going down. Your subscriptions are churning quicker. Their cost of acquisition on this product is going up. Like, yeah, like it's collagen. There's only a few ways you can sell it, right? Hair, skin, and nails. But what can you do to give it that little bit of an edge, right? So like, for example, we're going into Walmart. It's a new flavor entirely compared to what we have on the website because it's the perfect time for us to rebrand a little bit and make a better formula instead of sticking what we know is kind of slowing down a little bit and making something 10 times better for retail.
I like that. Smart.
So it's like adding better ingredients, better flavors, all natural.
Better pizza, Papa John's.
Boom. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good way to end this bad boy.
That's it. That's it.
No, but like, look, even the big ass brands are going through the same thing everyone else is
Yeah,
doing. Like,
yeah.
you guys are doing, I'll guess, but 8 figures a year type of thing. Like, you guys are going through it. You know what I mean? They've done what, 40 million in 40 months. I know you guys pushed that a lot. Like, you guys are going through the same woes that even the new brands who are launching are going through.
Yeah.
But you're not quitting. You know what I mean? It's like you're not like giving up. It's like,
No.
look, you got to do what you got to do. Take care of your business.
There's shit that you gotta do, like, and you just gotta put your ego aside, right? Like, you can't go back and say like, hey, well, we sold $40 million of this. It has to work. It's not the case.
Yeah, tomorrow might not work. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like that happened in the past. Now we got to keep moving to the
100%.
future.
Yeah.
iPhones come out. There's a new one out every fucking year.
Literally,
The old
they
one
do
gets
it on
obsolete.
purpose.
Yeah, and the old one gets obsolete. Like, we have the same formula for the last 4 years. Like,
Time for a new iPhone.
Yeah, it's time for a new iPhone.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm glad we made it this far,
Yeah.
but you don't go from 40 to 100 million selling the same fucking product.
100%.
You got to keep innovating, listen to the feedback from the consumers, and just tailor the roadmap as it needs to happen.
Yeah.
100%. This is fire.
Fire. Last question. How many creators you pump out a month?
Anywhere from, it used to be a lot more. So like when it was post iOS update and I was in my
He's shitting his pants.
when I was shitting my pants, I was pumping out 40 creators a week. I was an asshole to our
And like
team.
what? Just like different colors, different fonts, different text,
Static
everything?
images, videos, everything. Like, I was a complete dick to I was a dick to Unkit. I was a dick to like every other our graphic designers. I was like, I need fucking 10 assets out of you like every day. And it helped. It did help. But now that you can refine from that and say like, all right, you don't need 40 creators a week anymore. You know what your winners are. You know what your target audience is. Now I can relax now and say like, hey, like, all right, let's make a few iterations of what's winning and let's maybe test a few new creative. So anywhere from maybe like 5 to 10 a week now. I think.
Okay.
A lot of iterations.
A lot of iterations.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So in a month, what was that? 40, 50 creatives? I think that's enough to
sustain.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Cool.
Where can people find you? 'Cause I know you're big on the Twitter and everything too.
Yeah,
You're a tweeter.
I'm a tweeter. Yeah, at Ashwin Melwani. Follow me on Twitter. Ron and I also have a podcast called Chew on This.
100%. We forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 2 coming out. We had some really solid guests. We have Harley, president of Shopify, coming on, which is great. So check out that. Season 2 starting in June. And then if you liked any of the value, I'm also on MentorPass. So if you want to schedule some time, can audit the ad accounts, figure out creative strategy.
That's big.
That's huge.
That's it.
Ash.
Yeah.
Like Ash is the man.
Yeah, we'll get all those links in the description.
Sorry, Ron.
Yeah.
I think this one might get
I told you.
this one might get a little more views than yours. I
Best
don't know.
for
We'll
last.
see. Yeah.
The best for
Honestly,
last.
best for last. No, this was fire. Like, definitely chew on this podcast. Like, amazing.
Yeah.
Because like you guys do a lot more tactical stuff. Like, if you're trying to learn stuff and really just like dive into this world, they talk about all the stuff, like what they're doing day to day and everything. So it's like huge on that. Obviously, like your guests are amazing too. So
Yeah.
a lot of learnings. Your Twitter, you can learn so much just from reading your Twitter too.
Yeah.
MentorPass, that's huge too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally get your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Book some time, even like half hour, we get through a lot, I've had calls where literally open up that account, rip it apart in 30 minutes, and you have like the go forward plan for the next few months.
I love it.
So
Well, what was the Avi promo code that we had too? We had an Avi.
I think it was like NMT 15 or NMT 20.
NMT 20. Okay.
Yeah, one of those. We'll
Something
find
like
it. We'll
that,
put it
yeah.
in the description.
Okay.
Go use it. Someone has to
go
have
check
used it
it.
by now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For all those middle-aged women that watch us.
Exactly. Last but not least, on our end, we call it the gentleman agreement, which pretty much means that like all this is free value. If you got all the way to the end, we love you. You're the best. Thank you so much. On our end, all we ask is that you like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend, go buy something from Avi.
Yeah.
like do something to like help us grow, help the people that are on here grow, because like that's what we do this for, to kind of give back and grow and stuff like that. So we
if you made it this far, shoot me a message on Twitter. I'll send you some swag from Chew on This.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. Ron. Look, Ashes. Change anyways. All right. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See you in the next one.
Thanks
Peace.
for having me, guys.